Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources, and it is draft o'clock. So nice of you to join me. Ooh, a Whip of Erebos. I think I will be taking that magic card. This is a perfectly good pack, though. There's a Nimbus Knight, a Nessian Asp still hanging around. Voyaging Satyr's decent. Yeah, some darn good cards in this pack, but I think this is the best one. And I will be selecting it for our draft today. What do we have here? Well, there's a Sea God's Revenge, which is interesting. A Voyaging Satyr. This is an interesting one. The Whip is kind of specific type of card. It's good. It's good with big creatures, basically, and green's the best at big creatures. Sea God's Revenge, not amazing in a deck with Whip. I think I'm actually going to take this Voyaging Satyr here. Yeah, and we're kind of rewarded. I'm going to take Nylea's Emissary instead of a second Satyr. Insatiable Harpy would also be on the list of cards that I'd like here, but I think that Nylea's Emissary is probably powerful enough to trump it there. All right, not much going on here. I'm going to take this Cavern Lampad. Not a huge fan of this card, but I think it's fine here. Here's a Nessian Courser, which is a pretty easy pick over a Fellhide Minotaur for pretty obvious reasons, I think. Sure. Yeah, I think that's the pick. Our 4s are getting clogged up kind of quickly, but that's okay. We just want to make sure we have enough creatures to support this Whip. I think that the thing that becomes apparent after you play with and against it is that it's the lifelink that's the most important part. It can just change races and go insane. Sure, the returning stuff is sweet, and you can certainly grind people out with it, but it's kind of hard to get stuff in your graveyard, and it's hard to get big, important stuff in your yard. I mean, getting back a random Grizzly Bear and attacking for 2 with it to gain a couple of life is okay, but it's often not worth 4 mana. And this particular set, Theros, has just tons of stuff to do with your mana all over the place, so there's certainly no shortage of that, and it can mean that you really want to just get value by just playing the Whip and having it on the battlefield. There are, of course, abuse potential for the Whip as well, though, where you can, you can get back stupid cards like Grey Merchant or Disciple of Phoenix and just kind of get a bunch of extra value. But it doesn't happen as often as you'd like. I think I just want an Nylea's Presence here. That could open up some potential splashes. I'll take this Dark Betrayal for the sideboard. Going for a walk. Savage Surge or Viper's Kiss. Hard to say in a deck like this. I guess I'll just go with the Surge for now. Another Presence is sweet. Now we're pretty opened up for a splash if we want it. Really only got 1 black card out of the pack. This one's fine, but not amazing. Alright, we can pick up a Staunch Hearted Warrior here. That's a nice addition. Which one's the most annoying? I guess this one. Ooh, that's a good pickup for the board too. I like that. The sideboard cards become much more important in a set like Theros, where there's so many playable cards. There's the range of playables in Theros is so wide that getting some laser focused stuff to come out of the board is pretty important. You may want to adjust the way that you pick those later part of the pack based on that as well. All right. What do we get? Well, there's a Grey Merchant. There's a Perforos here. Disciple. So all types of good options. But I think I'm going to take Perforos just because of the value. Something I talk about on our videos sometimes. I have no shame in that. I think that, in order to go infinite or as close as you can on Magic Online, sometimes you need to take a card that's worth 5 tickets over a good card that would go in your deck but isn't really worth much. Sometimes I like to break from that from the videos just because, I'm doing a video, and I want to have it I want to get as sweet of a deck as possible for the video. But I mean, I do a lot of these, you know, like it's not like I'm just poke my head up and do a video here and there. So it is a consideration. I could also take the Gray Merchant here. I wish I could have a vote right now. Oh, hell with it. You guys are worth $5 to me, it turns out. Farika's Cure. Lots of good cards in this pack. A Scorpion as well. Scorpion would be nice. I think I'm going to take this Farika's Cure, though. And a Nessian Courser or a Lash of the Whip. We don't really have much in the way of removal. It's getting a little concerning, but Nessian Courser plus Whip of Erebos is kind of exactly where you want to be. Yeah, I'm just going to take it. And we've got an Erebos' Emissary. It kind of adds to the 4-drop pile that we have going here, but I really like that card, so I think it's fine to pick up another 4 here. Sure, we'll take a Farika's Cure again. Warrior's Lesson's kind of interesting in our deck. It might actually be a thing. Although we have no 2-drops. Just this guy. So maybe not. Though looking at this pack, there's not really much for us anyway. So I'll just take it. Return Phalanx seems fine. Yeah, I think that seems fine here. I mean, I could take Sentry because we can splash it really easily, but I can also just attack with the Phalanx occasionally thanks to the 2 Nylea's presence that we have. Yeah, I guess I'll take another one of those. So if we play against another player playing black, we're going to wreck them, but as it sits, we're not really going to be wrecking people too badly here. Did solve that whole 3-drop problem. It doesn't really help with... Oh, sorry. I was looking at a watch website earlier. Doesn't really help, though, with the whole Warrior's Lesson, because, honestly, getting a Return Phalanx active and having Warrior's Lesson up when we're not even in blue is going to be a bit of a stretch, I think. I'll take this one. That one we could splash. And I like that card. Okay. So the deck is coming together. Got a little bit of removal. Could definitely use something along the lines of like a Sip of Hemlock. But I like our ground game. I don't like basically our big concerns right now are flyers. And kind of that's it. So let's see what we get here. All right, well, there's a possibly irrelevant hunter. There's a Keepsake Gorgon and a Disciple here. I think I just like Keepsake Gorgon. You guys know me. I love this card. I think it's just fantastic, and there's not too many things I'd pass. On instead of a Keepsake. Let's see, a Leaf Crown Dryad, a Farika's Cure, and a Read the Bones. Probably just going to want to stick with the Dryad here. Yeah, I think it helps with the flying thing I just mentioned, and it's just a good magic card. All right, well, here's a Sip of Hemlock. I mean, there's a Mogus's Marauders, which is fine. Marauder, excuse me, which is fine. Voyage's End's probably the best card in the pack, but we need Sips. I mentioned that a little while ago, and you know, we just need a way to kill some big bomb or some huge threat on our opponent's side. We've got a lot of blockers for the ground. We've got Farika's Cures against their super early stuff, but we just don't have that many ways. I mean, now we do, but before, when I mentioned it, we just didn't have that many ways to reach out and kill something. So we want a Goliath or a Lash of the Whip. That's the question here. We want the Lash, I think. We've already got tons of 4s here for our Nylea's Disciple. We've got a Nylea's Disciple. I think we can just take another removal spell. If the game goes long and you have a whip, you usually just win. Oops, sorry about that. But the... yeah, whipping back Gray Merchant is sweet. I think we can get rid of this. Yeah, this seems okay. This deck isn't amazing, but it's okay. Alright, well, 2 really good cards for our deck. A Sip of Hemlock and a Nemesis of Mortals. I feel okay about our defense now, and I'm going to go for the Nemesis here. I just think that, again, you just want huge stuff when you have a Whip of Erebos. And, well, that definitely qualifies. Take a Sedge Scorpion here just to further bolster our defenses. All right, here's the Vulpine Goliath. So this deck came together pretty nicely. Nothing really here. I'll definitely just snatch up this Artisan Sorrow for the board, though. Not going to start that one. We're definitely going to make a few cuts here. I'll probably cut... Well, I'm not sure yet. Do I care about the green mirror? Probably not as much as I care about just getting a Viper's Kiss, which is pretty decent. Kind of wish I had that Read the Bones. Not that I wish I would have picked differently, I like that card and I think it would go well in this deck. When you can gain back a bunch of life with Whip, getting cards like Read the Bones gets quite a bit better. Sure. I think I'm going to do something like this. Cut 1 to 2 of the Return Phalanx as well, or maybe 1 to 2 of the Nylea's Presence. I don't know that we're really going to need it. It's nice to get a little bit of velocity going and fix your mana, but I don't think we're going to be splashing anything here at all. I mean, splashing to make that active to attack is just kind of whatever. I think I just want one of these in the deck probably. Oh, all right. A little splash on blue gets a little bit better there. There's that Goliath that we passed for the sip. Okay. So we need to do some trimming here. I'm going to cut one of these. I'm probably going to cut the Cavern Lampad. I'm definitely going to cut these sandals here. Probably getting closer to what the deck would look like. One of these gone, plus an Nylea's Presence and a thing. Maybe looks like this. Yeah, I'll figure it out now. All right, so that's in maybe one of those. That's a maybe. So I want it to look something like this. I think we want to go 18 lands here. And I need to add one more card so I can put in like the Savage Surge, which seems like it would be totally fine here. Yeah. I think this seems like a good deck. Nine and 9, you say. Now let's do the thing that I like to do. Those of you that watch often will know what I'm going to do, and I'll explain for those of you that are first-time viewers. Okay, so creatures, spells down here. And then what we're going to do is, since this is our normal mana curve, we're going to move the spells around to where we actually think we're going to cast them. This is like my best estimate. So, for example, I think Pharika's Cure is probably turn 3 play normally. Presence, Scourge Marks, turn 4. Savage Surge is probably 5-ish. This could be a 4 or a 2. It depends. These are all 3s. These are 4s. Yeah, this is fine. We'll call that a 4. Definitely a 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, and then, this might actually be here, and then a 6. Okay, so this is what our curve actually looks like. This just gives us a better idea of when we need our mana, and it turns out we're pretty even here. There isn't some clear indicator that we should go one way or the other. So I think 9 and 9 is actually where we want to be. Sometimes, though, Magic Online is wildly off with this, so it's worth checking out. All right. Let's see what this thing can do.